Quoting from Antigone, a Greek tragedy, and the Odyssey, an epic poem, require some different skills than we typically use with a regular novel. Pay attention to what you need to do to make sure that your work is correct and complete. The very first thing you can make sure that you do to be accurate is to copy and paste from the original document. Go into the e-text, highlight the lines that you wish to use as a quote, and then press copy before moving it into your Google Doc. That's what I've done right here. I've copied, I've pasted, it's exactly correct, just the way it is, without any question. Step number 2, once I've copied and pasted, is to check for completeness. Now by this, I mean simply that you have to make sure that you're only quoting complete sentences. This is very important. Let me show you what I mean. This line highlighted in green is just one sentence. It begins with a capital letter, it expresses a complete thought, and it ends with a period after sin. This next line here, actually these next 3 lines, all work together as one sentence. It may be confusing because hapless and start with capital letters, but it all works together as one sentence, and I know that because there's only one period, and it's after the word repentance. So the sentence starts with but and ends with repentance. And here, line 855, that's one last sentence. Only a fool is governed by self-will. It starts with a capital O at only and ends with a period after self-will. Now that I've checked they have all complete sentences, I need to go on to step 3, writing a citation. Now I'm not going to keep this 855 in my quote when it's all said and done, but I kept it in when I copied and pasted it so I'd remember that this last line is line 855. Here it is, line 855. That means that this line, highlighted in pink now, is 854. And this line is 853, 852, and 851. So now I know my quote runs from line 851 to 855. And now I can get rid of that line number. And here's my quote now without that line number. The next thing I need to do is get rid of the period after the last sentence, which here is after the word self-will. And once I've done that, I can add in my citation. Now don't forget the 2 basic parts of citations. First would be the author's name. In this case, it's the playwright Sophocles. I have to make sure that I get his name and that it's spelled correctly. When in doubt, go back and check the text. The next part is equally important. It's the exact line numbers that the quote comes from. Please don't forget the word lines if you're quoting from more than one line, and you actually have to put the correct numbers in there as well. Please double check to make sure it's exact. Another good reminder is to leave a space after the final word of your quote, but before the beginning of the citation. You can see it there in green with the pink arrow pointing to it. Okay, we're rounding up toward the end here. Step number 4 is putting in those line breaks. Line breaks are the slashes that let a reader know when a line has stopped and a new one is beginning. So this means that at the end of every line, you need to enter in a slash and a space, like I have here. At the end of the line, the first line that ends with sin, I put a slash in and then brought the next line up after it. So you see sin, period, slash, and then a space, and then the next line. I did the same thing after the line that ends with the word lost. I brought hapless up after that. I've done the same thing with the next line. I've brought the line back up after amends. And now I've done my last line break after repentance before only. It's a good time to check. Do you have a capital letter at the word that comes after each line break? You should, even if it's not the beginning of a sentence. After the first line break, but is capitalized. After the second line break, hapless is capitalized, even though hapless isn't the beginning of a sentence. Same thing with and. Those are capitalized because they're the beginning of lines in this poem, and that's how it should be. So it's a good time to check that. It's also a good time to check that you have indeed put one space after every line break. That makes it easier for the reader to see where those line breaks are. One last point to check. Make sure that you do not include a line break after the very last words you quote. Okay, last step, step 5, add quotation marks. You need to put in a set of quotation marks around the entire quote, and it will look something like this. Here's the first set in pink at the beginning. Because everything in this play and in this epic poem are quotations, you do not need to use doubles. You just need to use a regular set of quotation marks, just like the pink ones right here. And here's the second set at the end of the quote, after self-will. Again, don't forget to include a space after the quotation marks and before your citation. You can see that space highlighted here in green. And when it's all said and done, this is what the quote should look like in its final form. Now, obviously, this doesn't have a quote lead-in, but it's punctuated and it's spaced correctly, and it has a citation in perfect form. So there you go, 5 easy steps to make sure that your quotations are correctly punctuated, spaced, and cited. If you have questions, don't forget to email me or bring your work into the Student Success Center before or after school or any of the 8 periods of the day. Thanks. I look forward to reading your writing.